Assalamu alaikum dear students. In the last lecture of chapter 1 units and measurements, we have discussed about scope of physics and also need for measurements. Then we had seen units for measurements, which is to be defined as the reference standard used for the measurement of a physical quantity, which is called as unit. And a good unit should have the following properties. First one, it should be easily available. Second, it should be invariable. That means the unit should not change with space and time. Third, the unit should be universally accepted. And the fourth one, it should be reproducible. Then we had seen the system of units as it is to be classified first of all in CGS system, MKS system and FPS system, where CGS system stands for centimeter grams second system, where the physical quantities are to be used as length, mass and time. MKS system, meter, kilogram and second system, where meter is the unit of length, kilogram is the unit of mass and second is the unit of time. Similarly, FPS system stands for foot, pound, second system. Then nowadays we are using the SI system, which is said to be the system international, which is universally accepted. And then we had seen the very basic fundamental quantities and fundamental units. Those physical quantities which do not depend on any other physical quantities for their measurement are known as fundamental quantities. And it is to be found there are 7 fundamental quantities like length, mass, time, temperature, electric current, luminous intensity and amount of substance. So these are the 7 physical quantities whose measurements are independent, that's why called as fundamental quantities. And their units are said to be the fundamental units. The units which is to be used to measure fundamental quantities are called as fundamental units. In the table 1.1, the fundamental quantities is to be given with their SI units and symbol. So over here, the fundamental quantity length is to be measured in meter, symbol is given as small m. Then next mass is measured in kilogram, symbol is given as kg. Then next fundamental quantity is time, which is to be measured in second and represented as small s. Fourth fundamental quantity is temperature. The SI unit is to be given as Kelvin and is to be represented as capital K. Then next fundamental quantity is electric current, which is to be measured in ampere and symbol A, that is capital A. The next fundamental quantity is luminous intensity, which is to be measured in candela and represented by small cd. The last fundamental quantity is given as amount of substance and SI unit is to be given as mole and symbol is given as MOL. After that we had seen derived quantities and derived units. As over here we are using large number of the physical quantities like speed, momentum, resistance, conductivity, temperature gradient, etc., which depend on some or all of the 7 fundamental quantities and hence can be represented in terms of these quantities. Such quantities which depends on 1 or 2 or more fundamental quantities are called as derived quantities, and the unit of derived quantities are said to be the derived units. Here we have discussed the number of examples like area, volume, density, velocity, acceleration, momentum, force, charge, temperature gradient, impulse, work, power, pressure, kinetic energy, potential energy, and many more. So these are some of the examples of the derived quantities which depends on one or more fundamental quantities, and unit of these derived quantities are said to be the derived units, and hence in turns we can say that the derived units depends on one or more fundamental units there. Now, besides these 7 fundamental or basic units, there are 2 more units which is said to be the supplementary units. One is said to be the plane angle, which is to be denoted by d theta, and another is said to be the solid angle, which is to be denoted as d omega. Now let's see first of all about the plane angle. As over here we have to consider a circle of radius r, and hence we are considering the arc of the circle which we are representing by, as it is to be represented as AB, and the notation is to be given as ds. So ds is nothing but the arc of a circle there, and the circle is having the radius small r, which is to be represented as OB. So with this arc, the angle which is to be subtended at the center of the circle, so this angle which is to be formed over here is said to be the plane angle. Okay, with this center, the one end of the arc, that is at the point A, you have to coincide, and another end of the arc, that is at the point B, you have to coincide. So the small angle which is to be made over here, which is to be represented by d theta, this is said to be the plane angle. So here we can say that the ratio of the length of an arc of a circle to the radius of the circle, as we had discussed in the figure, is called as plane angle. So d theta is to be written as ds upon r, and this d theta is nothing but the angle subtended by the arc at the center of the circle, and hence the unit of the plane angle is to be given as radian and is to be represented as, the symbol is to be given as rad, and also an angle theta in radian is to be denoted as theta c over there. Let's see about the next supplementary unit, that is said to be the solid angle. The solid angle is nothing but the 3-dimensional analog of the plane angle. Over here we have to consider the sphere of radius r over there, so that the surface area of the sphere which is to be made, the angle which is to be subtended at the center of the sphere. So this angle which is to be subtended of the sphere by means of the surface area of the sphere is said to be the solid angle. So over here the solid angle is to be defined as the area of the portion of the surface of a sphere to the square of the radius of the sphere. Here we had considered the radius of the sphere as r. Okay, so for this sphere which is having the radius r at the center of the sphere, so from this center the element area we are considering by means of this area the angle which is to be subtended at the center of the sphere. So this angle is said to be the solid angle, which is to be denoted as d omega, and mathematically it is to be defined as the area of a portion of surface of the sphere to the square of the radius of the sphere, and hence mathematically it is to be written as the solid angle is d omega, which is nothing but the ratio of the surface area to the square of the radius. So here the surface area we are representing as dA, the radius is to be given as small r. So d omega is to be written as dA upon r square. So this d omega is called as the solid angle subtended by area at the center of the sphere O. Now the unit of the solid angle is to be given as steradians, and the symbol is given as SR. when we are talking about the entire sphere, so the sphere of radius r has its surface area 4 pi r square. Thus, the solid angle that must be subtended by the entire sphere at its center, it is to be given as omega, as it is the ratio of the surface area to the square of the radius. So over here, the solid angle subtended by the entire sphere at its center will be omega is equal to 4 pi r square upon r square. R square gets cancelled over here, and hence the solid angle subtended by the entire sphere at its center must be is equal to 4 pi stay radian. So here we have discussed about the supplementary units, plane angle and solid angle. Now next let's see the conventions for the use of SI units. The very first convention that we have to use while using SI unit is unit of every physical quantity should be represented by its symbol. As we had seen in the table 1.1, fundamental quantities was given with their SI unit and symbol. 7 fundamental quantities are to be given with its SI units, where it is to be written with full name, and also it is to be represented by means of its symbol. For example, length is to be measured in meter, and the symbol for the meter we are using as small m. Mass is measured in kilogram, and we are using its symbol as kg. Time is measured in second, and it is to be represented by means of its symbol by S. Temperature is measured in Kelvin, and its symbol is given as K. Electric current is to be measured in ampere, and it is to be represented by A. Luminous intensity is to be measured in candela, and its symbol is CD. Amount of substance is measured in mole, and the symbol is given as MOL. So over here, the unit, as we had seen for the fundamental quantities, okay, by using the fundamental quantities we can obtain n number of the derived quantities, and hence we are talking about any physical quantity. So the unit of every physical quantity should be represented by its symbol, as we had seen the symbol column also. So over there we have to use the symbol whenever we are talking about any physical quantity. The next is to be given the full name of a unit always is start with a small letter, even if it is a name after a person. For example, as it is given to you 1 Newton, as the Newton is the name of a person, but when we are writing the full name of a unit, so it is always start with a small letter. Similarly for the joule also, it is to be written with a small letter only. So we have to keep in mind whenever we are using full name of a unit, so always it is to be start with a small letter, even if it is the name after a person. The example is given over here. But also we have to take care the symbol for the unit named after a person should be in capital letter. There is a difference while writing the full name of a unit and when we are using the symbol of a unit over there. Always we have to use a small letter whenever we are writing the full name of a unit, even it is the name of a person. But when the same unit we are writing in terms of its symbol, so over here we have to take care that if the unit is there named of a person, then it is to be written with a capital letter. For example, Over here it is to be given as the full name. Here we are writing as Newton. Newton is the name of a person, is a great scientist, and hence over here full name of a unit we are starting with is small n. But when the same we are representing in terms of the symbol, so it should be represented by capital N. Similarly for the joule also, here when the full name of a unit we are writing, so it is to be start with the small letter. But if we are writing, we are using the symbol of this unit, so it must be start with the capital letter, that is capital J after the scientist Joule. So here we can say that the full name of a unit always starts with a small letter, if it is based on the name of a scientist or not. But when we are using the symbol for the unit, so here we have to take care that the symbol for the unit named after a person should be in capital letter, otherwise it should be small. For example, here we had seen the Newton symbol we are using, as it is based on the name of a person, so it is to be written with capital N. Okay, but if it is not based on any person, the symbol is not representing the name of any person, then it should be small. Here you can see in this symbol column also, as you can see, meter is to be written as a small letter, kilogram also it is to be given in the small letter, second. Okay, but when we are writing Kelvin, so here the full name of a Kelvin is to be starts with the small letter. Here you can see in the SI unit all the starting letter is small only. Okay, here you can see Kelvin, ampere, which is nothing but the name of a scientist there. But when we are using the symbol for the SI unit, so here we have to take care that meter is to be represented as a small m, kilogram is to be represented as a small kg, second is to be written as a small s. But when we are writing the symbol of Kelvin, so here it is to be represented as capital K. The symbol of ampere is to be written as capital A. So this is the difference while writing the symbol of any SI unit there. So here we had seen the convention that first of all the unit of every physical quantity should be represented by its symbol, and when we are writing the full name of the unit, so it always starts with the small letter even if it is the name after a person. But when the symbol for a unit named after a person is to be given, then it must be written with a capital letter. Then the next convention we have to use, the symbols for units do not take plural form. That means here the symbols that we are using over here in a measurement, we cannot use the plural form over there. For example, the force of 20 Newton, it should not be written as 20 newtons. Okay, it should not be 20 newtons or 20 ns. It is wrong. Always whatever the unit is assigned, either the full name Newton or the symbol capital N, we have to use only that much. The plural form while writing the unit is not allowed. The next is the symbol for units do not contain any full stop at the end of the recommended letter. For example, here we are writing as 25 kilogram. Okay, so over here we are not supposed to give any punctuation mark over there. Okay, the punctuation mark is not allowed over there. Over here we cannot write any punctuation mark over there. It is not allowed after a symbol. It is to be written as only kilogram and not kilogram dot. Okay, the full stop or a question mark or any punctuation mark will come as per the given sentence. But when we are writing any measurement, so there should not be written any kind of punctuation mark. It will be only like kilogram, it will be only like meter or newton or any symbol that we are using, but no full stop, no punctuation mark we are supposed to write after writing any measurement over there. The next convention, we have to use the units of physical quantities in numerator and denominator should be written as one ratio. For example, the SI unit of acceleration, as we know that it is meter per second square. So this meter per second square we can write meter, some space we have to give over there. Then this second square in the numerator becomes second raised to minus 2. Okay, this way is correct one. Either you have to write in a ratio of the numerator or denominator, or simply you can write in this way also. But we cannot write the meter per second square as meter per second per second. This way of writing any unit is wrong. The unit of physical quantities must be there in either numerator and denominator or only in this form. Okay, we cannot write the multiple ratios over there. So here we have to keep in mind, either we have to write the unit of any physical quantity in the form of the numerator and denominator, or simply the denominator factor we have to bring in the numerator, or you can write the unit in this way over there. The next convention, the use of combination of units and symbols for units is avoided when physical quantity is expressed by combination of two. Over here we are talking in some of the physical quantity we have to use combination of the units over there. For example, here we are writing joule per kilogram Kelvin. So it is correct, while it is to be written, if you are writing as joule as full name, per kilogram symbol, Kelvin is symbol, it is not correct. Either you have to express the unit in the symbol form only, that means when you are using the symbol of any unit, so you have to express the unit over there in the symbol only. You cannot write like one of the unit you are mentioning in terms of its full name, another unit you are mentioning in the symbol form. Okay, so this combination is not allowed. Either you have to use to express the unit in terms of writing the full name of unit, or you have to use to express the unit in terms of its symbol only. The combination of the two, that means the combination of the full name of unit and the symbol, is not allowed. Whenever you are writing any unit over there, so you have to keep in mind, it may be the measurement will give, for example, the length is to be given the unit as meter. Okay, over here we are using the symbol only meter over there, but sometimes the combination of units are coming over there. For example, the density it is to be given as kilogram per meter cube. Okay, so kilogram per meter cube that you are writing, so kilogram per meter cube if you are representing in terms of symbol, so here you have to give it as kg per meter cube. Okay, or kilogram per meter cube you have to give in terms of the full name, but kilogram per m cube you cannot write. So here you have to keep in mind, when the combination of the unit of the physical quantities are to be there in our measurement, so that here either we have to use the symbol form only strictly, or you have to write the complete unit by using the full name of the unit. This combination, the full name and symbol, is not allowed. You have to use either the complete unit you are writing in the symbol form, or the complete unit you have to write in the full name of a unit there by using the conventions that we had studied earlier. The next convention is a prefix symbol is used before the symbol of the unit. The prefix symbol is nothing but sometimes we are measuring, the measurement gives the measurement as like milli. For example, the length is to be given as millimeter, decimeter, nanometer, kilometer, centimeter. Okay, so these prefix that we are using like milli, deci, pico, nano, kilo, so these prefix symbol that we are using, it is always to be used before writing the symbol of the actual unit. Okay, for example, the millisecond is there, so you have to write as milli, you are writing with a small m, and second you are writing with a small s. Okay, and it is to be written without any space or hyphen. So over here you cannot write s and then m. The prefix symbol you have to write first and then you have to write the symbol of the unit. For example, millisecond, microsecond, nanosecond. Okay, thus prefix symbol and unit symbol constitute a new symbol for the unit which can be raised to a positive or negative power of 10. Obviously, we had seen that, for example, the millisecond, if you are writing, so 1 millisecond, see here we are using the symbol. Now we are writing it in the form of the full name, so it is to be written as millisecond. Now this is to be also expressed as the power of 10. The power may be negative or positive. Okay, so milli stands for 10 raised to minus 3. So this combination, the combination of the prefix symbol and unit symbol gives the new symbol for the unit, okay, that we are expressing in terms of the power of 10. So this millisecond can also be written as 10 raised to minus 3s. Similarly, 1, this is the symbol for the micro, and then second, see here there is no space in between. Okay, it is to be written with same millisecond, microsecond, nanosecond. So this, it is symbol that we are using when we are writing the full name. So micro is to be written, then second is to be written. Now this micro, when we are writing in terms of power of 10, so it is to be given as 10 raised to minus 6. So 1, symbolically it is given as microsecond, can also be written as 10 raised to minus 6 second there. Similarly, for the nanosecond also, you have to express in terms of the power of 10, the power may be positive or negative. Now what the precaution we have to take over here, that the use of double prefixes is avoided when single prefix is available. For example, over here 10 raised to minus 6 second is there. Okay, 10 raised to minus 6 means micro. That means we are talking about 10 raised to we are talking about 1 microsecond over there. Now this 10 raised to minus 6 we can write it as 10 raised to minus 3 into 10 raised to minus 3. 10 raised to minus 3 is nothing but it stands for milli. So here it comes as 1 millisecond. Okay, but it is not allowed while writing the unit over there. We cannot use the double prefix. We have to avoid it, because instead of writing this milli, we are having a prefix that is the micro. So always try to use of this single prefix instead of the double prefix over there. Always you have to avoid the double prefixes. Okay. Similarly, 10 raised to minus 9 is nothing but the nanosecond. Now 10 raised to minus 9 can be written as 10 raised to minus 6 into 10 raised to minus 3. 10 raised to minus 6 gives us the value in micro. 10 raised to minus 3 gives the value in milli, so that it may be written as 1 millimicrosecond. But as we know that 10 raised to minus 9 directly we can write it as nano. There is no need to write in terms of milli and micro. There is no need to use the double prefix over there, as the single prefix is present representing instead of these two double prefixes. So over here we have to avoid the use of the double prefixes. Always we have to use the single prefix if it is available. Then the previous discussion we had seen while writing the unit, the space or hyphen must be introduced while indicating multiplication of the two units. For example, meter per second is there. Okay, so either you have to write it as meter per second, or the same you can write the numerator meter, the denominator per second, which is there. So this per second can be written in the numerator as second raised to minus 1. But when we are bringing this factor in numerator, so we have to give a little space or hyphen in between. Instead of this ratio, you have to give the small space or hyphen, because here here when we are writing, for example, it as ms, so it will be stands for the millisecond. Okay, that's why the small space or hyphen must be introduced while indicating the multiplication of the two units over there. Okay, so milli some space, then here we have to write as meter some space and then second raised to minus 1, or meter hyphen second raised to minus 1. So always whenever we are writing the unit in the multiplication form, so we have to give the little space or a hyphen in between them. Okay, for example, over here we are writing the unit of momentum, which is kilogram meter per second. Okay, so that per second in the multiplication form is to be written as second raised to minus 1. Okay, already kilogram meter per second is there, so it is to be written as kilogram meter second raised to minus 1 in the multiplication form. So when we are writing it, so write down, first of all you have to keep in mind that here we have to use either the symbol or the full name. Okay, so here we are expressing the unit in terms of the symbol, so over there write kg, then space, then meter, then space, then second raised to minus 1, or you can write like kg hyphen meter hyphen second raised to minus 1. So in this way, whenever the units are to be introducing over there in terms of the multiplication, so we have to introduce a space or hyphen in between. So these are the conventions that we have to use while writing SI units. So here we have discussed in detail the entire system of units with fundamental quantities and units. With these 7 fundamental quantities and units, we are having supplementary units also, as we have discussed already. And by using these fundamental quantities and units, we had seen derived quantities and units too. And we have discussed the conventions that must be followed while writing the SI units there. The chapter will be continue next time in the next lecture. Thank you.